Hello, how are you all doing? My name's Kee. Welcome back to Premier League, Dad. We are live again for Andorra against England, FIFA World Cup Qualifier. Really looking forward to this one, and I don't really enjoy England games all that much, but I do think this one's going to be a decent game. And not from the perspective of Andorra giving England a game. I don't think they'll necessarily give England a game, but kind of intrigued to see what team has been put out. I know the lineups are already out. I'll have a look at them in a moment. We'll have a look at them. We'll go through them together. But I'm really intrigued to see what this England side can do, and which England side Thomas Tuchel has picked. It does just feel like obviously it's very early days in his reign as England manager, and I think there's an awful lot to think about with Thomas Tuchel and what system he's going to go with, which players don't quite make it, which players do quite make it. I'm not gonna. Let's not speculate. Let's get into the lineups very, very quickly. We will get into the lineups. We'll talk about it. Nick Nack, how's it going, Nick Nack? Good to see you, mate. As always. So first off, let's go through the lineups. That's probably the best place to start, isn't it? Sorry, I'm all over the place this afternoon. Been out this afternoon. Rushed slightly late to get back for this one. But looking forward to a couple of good games of football. We've got Andorra against England first, and then we've got Finland against the Netherlands tonight. Opportunity for, if you're a Liverpool fan like me, to see a little bit of Virgil van Dijk and Frimpong and Gakpo and Gravenberch and all of them. We'll see all of them. Really, really looking forward to Andorra against England first. First up, I do just want to say a massive, massive thank you to our sponsors on this channel, Match Bingo. Match Bingo are absolutely brilliant. If you've never, ever downloaded Match Bingo before, if you've never played Match Bingo before, and you like a bet on the footy, I am absolutely certain that you'll love Match Bingo. Basically, the way that it works is it combines all the fun and excitement that you would associate with a bet on the football, if you like that sort of thing, with a game of bingo. Right? It's absolutely brilliant. You download the app, you deposit £5, you get £10 free, and you buy yourself a bingo card for a game like this one, right? Andorra against England, right? You buy yourself a bingo card, it has 15 random events on that bingo card, and it will say things like, throw in to Andorra, corner to England, and as those things happen, you get prizes. You'll see them marked off on your bingo card, right? And you get prizes for a line, prizes for 2 lines, prizes for a full house. Can't say fairer than that. And you can win yourself a little small fortune on the app. It's really, really cool. £200,000, over £200,000 of prize money already paid out to over 10,000 UK players. And it's growing really, really quickly. Really, really good guys over there at Match Bingo, and they are supporting Premier League Dad and our channel as we continue to grow. So yeah, massive thank you to them for sponsoring this live. And if you do want to check out Match Bingo, click the link in the description, which is going to be in the description in every video we have, or you can scan the QR code, which is live on screen at any point during this live. And with that, let's take a look at the lineups. Let's take a look at the lineups for this one. Who have we actually got? Right, here we go. So, Andorra v England. We might as well do the Andorra lineups. Why not? We might as well do the Andorra lineups. It's from the RCDE Stadium, which I believe is Espanyol, isn't it? So it's not actually being played in. It's not actually being played in Andorra. Where is it? RCD is. I'm sure that's Espanyol, isn't it? Is that Espanyol Stadium? Yeah, it's Espanyol Stadium. Okay, so there you go. It's being played in Espanyol, which, I mean, it's effectively Andorra. It's Barcelona, it's Catalonia. I won't say that. That's probably not the right thing to say, but you know what I mean. It's right there. Geographically, it's right there, and it's a big stadium. So for Andorra, it's Alvarez, it's Borafont, Clovera, Garcia, Oliveira, and San Nicolas at left back, Rodrigo Tapia, Babo, Guillen, and Servos. And then up front, number 9, the danger man, Cuckoo. Cuckoo is the danger man. Cuckoo plays for Santa Coloma in the Andorran League, and he has 10 goals in 15 games this season. The guy's absolutely flying. So, England need to be very, very careful of Cuckoo up front. For England, we're going to go with, it's Pickford in goal. At left back? Left back? That's not right. I'm not accepting that's right. Reece James is playing at left back here on Flash Scores. That can't be right. I wonder I wonder if there's a change in formation here. There might be 3 at the back. So Reece James, Dan Burn, and Ezri Konsa are the only defenders in that team. Reece James, Dan Burn, Ezri Konsa. It's got here that Curtis Jones is starting at right back. That doesn't make any sense to me. Does it you? Doesn't make any sense to me. But Reece James left, Curtis Jones right, and then a midfield 3 of Henderson, Palmer, and Bellingham. Jordan Henderson, Cole Palmer, and Jude Bellingham. And then it's Rodgers on the left, Morgan Rodgers on the left, Noni Madueke on the right, and Harry Kane up front. On the bench, it is Kyle Walker, James Trafford, Ivan Toney, Declan Rice, Miles Lewis-Skelly, Dean Henderson, Anthony Gordon, Morgan Gibbs-White, Ebre Eze, Levi Colwill, Chalobah, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. There's nobody else really from an England perspective that... I mean, there's quite a few players that could come on and change the game, I guess. But, yeah, Eze, Gibbs-White, Gordon, Rice, Lewis-Skelly. But again, it's a little bit like similar to the Wales game last night. We watched Wales against Liechtenstein on this channel last night. And I do feel like if you can't put Andorra to the sword, England's not much down for you. Let's catch up with the chat. Reese, Prem Dad is watching an international game. Oh, wow, we are. We're doing an international game, mate. This one, and then we're doing one straight after it. Finland against the Netherlands. To be honest, there's a lot of international games coming up for a while. The only club football that we've actually got coming up is obviously the FIFA Club World Cup. So we're going to be doing quite a bit of that. But yes, Pure Loyalist, quick like and hello. On the way to Ibrox to get a new away top. 80 quid. Just heard 25-year-old Harry Darling from Swansea maybe heading to Ibrox on a free transfer. 80 quid? For an away top. Crikey. Well, hey mate, you pay what you've got to pay. Quite a few go on... go on, what's that one? DH Gate. Quite a few go on that. Reese... quite a different starting 11 for England. Yeah, I thought that was an unusual starting 11. A really odd starting 11. And it doesn't look like it's set up the way that Flash Scores and SofaScore and Who Scored have got it all set up. They seem to think it's going to be a pretty basic 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. I don't think it is. I actually think we're going to start with wing-backs. I think this is 5 at the back. I think Reece James is part of a back 3 with Dan Burn and Ezri Konsa, and then we're probably going to see maybe Morgan Rodgers and Curtis Jones put in at wing-back. I think that's what we're going to see. I think he's going to ask him to play wing-back. Pure Loyalist, good luck to England. Last time Andorra lost by more than 4 was when England played them away in 2021 qualifying. We won 5-0 that night. Also, in theory, the Andorra better than maybe I'm giving them credit for. Nick Nack, I mean, for Andorra, more gate receipts. That's true. Although I would imagine they'd have to split some of that with Espanyol, or, you know, it's being played in a different country at least, isn't it? Nick Nack attendance when we played them last time was 2285. Wasn't Andorra the game where David Nugent scored? Do you remember that? Was that against Andorra? I'm sure it was. England, David Nugent got his only England goal against Andorra. I'm going to have to Google that because I'm sure that's the case. David Nugent, Andorra. It was David Nugent's first and only goal for Andorra, for England against Andorra. It was literally, he only played once, and Defoe had a shot and it was dribbling in. It was literally rolling over the line. And David Nugent just went up to it and smashed it in while it was literally on the line. It was trickling in. If he'd have left it, it would have gone in. It would have been a Defoe goal. But David Nugent smashed it in and got the goal. I guess he can dine out on that, can't he? He can say, I've played and scored for England, at least. Nick Nack, they must have been more than 4 years ago. I don't know. Ethan, I've officially changed my nationality to France because my mum's side is French. Nice. Well, bonjour, Ethan. Mais oui, and all that. Callum Garnacho leaving United. Where's he going? Is he actually leaving? I wanted to talk about, obviously, look, it's been 24 hours. It feels like 24 hours since we finished the live. All of a sudden, there's more stuff that's happened. So I wanted to talk about the other stuff that's happened in the last 24 hours. Garnacho being one. Man United star will leave with decision made. 3 Premier League clubs want to sign Alejandro Garnacho. Who are the 3? I can imagine Arsenal, Chelsea, and maybe Newcastle. That's my guess. Before I've seen the article, my guess is Arsenal, Chelsea, Newcastle. Who are the 3? According to them, little more than a week, Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that it has been agreed there will be a clean break between player and club this summer. Right, so Romano's saying Garnacho's leaving United for sure. Garnacho is leaving the club. Erik ten Hag, newly installed as Bayer Leverkusen's manager, is also credited with an interest in the player. But he could yet stay in the Premier League. Chelsea looked at signing Garnacho in January and are on the market for attacking reinforcements after Jadon Sancho's gone back to Manchester United. So yeah, Chelsea's one. We knew that would happen. Who else is there? It says 3 Premier League clubs, and it's not even said any of the other clubs. Who are they? Oh, it just says a trio. A trio of Premier League clubs have expressed an interest in a player whose future will be resolved in the coming weeks. But it doesn't say who they are. I am certain that they'll be there. They'll be them 3, won't it? Certainly. Garnacho to Newcastle, Garnacho to Chelsea, Garnacho to Arsenal. They're the only 3 that I could really see him going to. What do you think? Knick-knack, anyone's guess. Trouble is, when you force players out, you're not going to get strong money. That's true. Yeah, that is true. I agree. I think, and the thing with Garnacho, I think there is a player in there, isn't there? There is a player in there with Garnacho. As a Liverpool fan, I wouldn't mind Garnacho coming to Liverpool. I think, again, he's a little bit like Cunha in many ways, in that maybe he's not always committed, I guess. But he's always a danger. He's always a live wire. When I think of Man United and them bringing Garnacho on, when I'm a Liverpool fan, it always makes me a little bit concerned. So, yeah, I do like him. And I think he could do well elsewhere. Substub, yo, how's it going? My head's still hurting a little, man, but should be okay. Good, man. All right, well, hopefully it does last the duration. But yeah, you take some water. Maybe pop a painkiller if you need to, but whatever you need. Ubaid, no way Arsenal go near him. Why would Arsenal not go near him? I think he gets in over Martinelli, doesn't he? I think he gets in over Martinelli, for sure. Or at least he provides reasonable competition to Martinelli. There's rumours that Arsenal are looking at, Rodrigo, for example. That feels like a bit overkill, because I'm not sure Arsenal need a Rodrigo. I think if they sign Garnacho, they could get him for probably half, maybe even a third of what they'd have to pay to get Rodrigo, plus more modest wages. And they'd be able to say, you can compete with Martinelli. There's a pathway to a first team place there. And he'd be playing in the Champions League. So, yeah, I could see Garnacho going to Arsenal. Callum, Everton would be perfect for Garnacho, staying in the Northwest, and they need wide players. Listen, Everton, Callum. Everton haven't got money. They haven't got a bean to spend. Don't listen to all this nonsense that Everton are going to spend a fortune this summer. They haven't got a bean. Knick-knack, Garnacho was one of the few decent players last season, though. Changed the game whenever he came off the bench. It's true, yeah. He's always done it, hasn't he? He's still a young man. He's still kind of learning mentally. Maybe he's, throwing his arms up and all that's not always a great look, but yeah, he's. I think he's all right. All right, I need to change the background here because Andorra are in yellow. I thought Andorra would be in the beautiful, luscious blue. Alas, no, they are in the yellow. So I need to change the kit. Ethan, I bet Leeds buy him. Why would honestly, why are we saying Leeds and Everton? Leeds and Everton aren't going anywhere near Garnacho. They can't afford him, and even if they could afford him, they couldn't tempt him. These are teams that could potentially go down. Garnacho's not going to be tempted by Leeds and Everton. I mean, no disrespect to those clubs, but they'll be fighting relegation this year. There's no way that Garnacho goes to those two. Litigation, how's it going? Hi chat and Special K. Callum, Andorra 1, England 4. I think it'll be more than that. I think it may be 5-0. I have got England -2. So I need England to win by at least a 3-goal margin. Callum, how do you know that? Well, I don't know that. I don't know that. You're right. I don't know that. But I guess in the same way that we all have an opinion on it, I don't think for 1 second that Garnacho would go to Leeds or go to Everton, and I think he probably would go to an Arsenal or a Chelsea or a Newcastle. Razine, good to see you, Razine. How are you, mate? Had a great Eid day. Will the Three Lions win here? Gotta say, your stream has been a part of my daily routine, I guess. Also gotta appreciate that, in my opinion, you are the best footy streamer. Oh, Razine, thank you very much. That's really touched me, that, mate. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Well, yeah, absolutely. First off, happy Eid and all that. I hope that's all good. You've enjoyed your day. That's really good. Will the Three Lions win here? Yes, they will. Yes, they will. It'd be incredibly surprising if England didn't get a win. It would probably be one of the one of the worst results in England's history if England were to even draw here. It would be up there with one of the worst results in England history. Ethan, who got Aaron Ramsdale? Who got relegated with Aaron Ramsdale? What are you on about? Southampton. Knick-knack. Nobody yet. West Ham seem interested. At least we'll get our money back. Hang on a minute, Knick-knack. Sorry, you've totally lost me there. I know I was talking about something. What were we talking about? Nobody yet. West Ham seem interested. West Ham seem interested in Garnacho. We're still talking about Garnacho there. Sorry, I've gone off on a tangent on multiple things. Jake, good to see you. Evening all. Good to see you, Jake. Still no TikTok. I'm still suspended on TikTok, so no TikTok for tonight. I'm going to have to be off TikTok for another 6 days. So that's kind of grim. Oh, Ramsdale. Yes. Sorry, yeah. I think you will. You probably will get Ramsdale. You get your money back. How much did you pay for him? Was it 30 million quid you ended up paying for Ramsdale? I think you'll get your money back there or thereabouts. There is value in Ramsdale, but I just don't know who goes in for him. Graham Potter's targeting Robert Sanchez, isn't he, at Chelsea? And if he goes and gets Robert Sanchez, then obviously the Ramsdale deal's kiboshed. Ethan, we bought Aaron Ramsdale. We got relegated with Aaron Ramsdale, so nobody thought we would get Aaron, and we did. No. I don't think Aaron Ramsdale is anywhere close to the same level as Garnacho. He's not even close to that level. I really do think I really do think that he's a level above. He's a level above. Callum, sad to see some rat on the bench. Yeah, well, people don't seem to think he's a rat, do they? Trent Alexander-Arnold. Ethan, if you think like that, I don't think Aaron Ramsdale's a top keeper, mate. And like I said, I think where he goes next will probably tell you all you need to know about that. Let's look back. Ramsdale signs for Arsenal. How much did they pay for him? 25 million quid. Oh no, that was Southampton. Southampton signed Arsenal for 25 million quid. Sorry. How much did Arsenal pay for him? 24. Oh, there you go, yeah. So Arsenal signed an initial 24, could rise to 30, and then Southampton signed him for 25. I fully expect if he does move on, he'll probably go maybe by... I don't know, I think he'll go to a lower level Premier League team. Like a Wolves maybe at best. Team that you'd expect to go down. He could go to Leeds. Leeds would be a shout. Jake, I'll bore you with the Newcastle news then. We made an inquiry for Elanga last night in talks with Forest. Targets, Trafford, João Pedro, Gay and Elanga costing around 140 to 160. I'd be happy with that. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Newcastle, if you got Trafford, Gay, Elanga, even if you just got those three, I think that'd be a big window for Newcastle. That would be an improvement. You would be a better team as a result of those three coming in. Gay, you definitely need at least one or two centre-backs. I think centre-back is probably the main area Newcastle needs someone in. Centre-back, obviously right wing, of course. If you get Elanga, great, but you do need at least one centre-back for sure. Hey, M1K3Y, how we doing? Good to see you. Mikey, I'm going to call you Mikey. I'm sure that's what it is. Mikey, how's it going? Yeah, good, man. Really good. How are you doing? Oh, my nose is dead itchy, though. My nose is super itchy. Ethan, I see him going to Saudi Arabia. You think Ramsdale going to Saudi? I don't see that. I just don't think he's good enough. He's not a big enough name to go to Saudi either. Nick Pedro would be a good signing, but he does dive a lot. It's very, very true. I also don't think that Newcastle signed João Pedro, given that they're in talks with Callum Wilson to extend his contract at Newcastle. I don't think they need another centre-forward, unless Isak is going. And by the way, there's a lot of rumours, Jake, there's still a lot of rumours doing the rounds that Liverpool are coming in for Isak. There's a lot of rumours doing the rounds that Liverpool have not given up on Isak and he's still in play. It's still very much on. Mikey, so is there a new TikTok or will it unban? What's happening? So I've got a 7-day ban, mate. I've got a 7-day ban on TikTok until the 13th of June. So I can't go live at the very least until the 13th of June. It might even be longer than that, but up to now it's the 13th of June. And it was for something so pathetic. So utterly pathetic. I was having a friendly back and forth with a Man United fan who came in and he said, "Oh, I hate Liverpool fans." And I laughed and I said, "Oh, yeah, well, we hate Man United fans. You hate us, we hate you. It's how it's meant to be. Liverpool hate Man United fans. Man United fans hate Liverpool fans. It's just how it's meant to be. It's all good. The world keeps spinning." And literally within 30 seconds of saying that, it went bang. Stream down, live down, you've been suspended, no live access, everything gone, 7-day ban. And I immediately put an appeal in thinking, obviously they'll turn that over. That was obviously a ridiculous, overly sensitive, thing from TikTok. And yeah, they just immediately went no. Appeal rejected. Ban stands. You're banned for seven days. So there you go. Nick Nack, you always pay more doing that, but at least you know what you're getting by buying Premier League ready guys. Yeah, but is that likely to be the way that you pay more? And I know what you're saying. You pay more, you get more, or you at least know what you're getting. That's true. However, it doesn't always work out. It's often seen as the way to do it, but it just, if anything, I feel like you just pay more. You don't actually get a lot more in many cases. There's not been all that. Look at James Ward-Prowse. James Ward-Prowse at Southampton was wow, what a top centre mid. If you got him into a good team, he'd do wonders. Went to West Ham, didn't really kick on at all, did he? Didn't really do much. And that's just one example. I mean, you can talk about Harry Maguire. You can talk about loads of Man United ones. Romelu Lukaku, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. There's loads of them. Matic. Fernando Torres to Chelsea. You pay more, but you don't always get more. Ethan, my nan knows who Aaron Ramsdale is, and she doesn't watch football. Well, there you go. I know, but what I'm saying is I still don't think he's well known. He's not well known enough that Saudi would go, do you know what we need? We need Aaron Ramsdale. He's not enough of a profile internationally. He doesn't play international football, really. He's a pretty poor keeper, isn't he? Callum, do you genuinely think we get Isak if Newcastle get Pedro and David? Well, I think we could get Isak irrespective of that, really. Like I said, I'm not saying we will, but there's a lot of rumours doing the rounds that it's not done and dusted. Like I thought before, when we talked about the season ending, we was having a chat about Isak, Liverpool, Arsenal. Could those two go in for him? It's still puzzling me that Liverpool do need a centre forward. We do need a centre forward. We are, there's lots of rumours doing the rounds about Darwin Núñez leaving, who he's going to. There's no real solid, concrete rumours about who Liverpool are targeting at centre forward. And there's a part of me that thinks maybe that is because we've already identified who that is, but there's not really any movement yet. Now, it could be that Newcastle are going to do their business early and they go and get João Pedro and they retain Callum Wilson. And then Liverpool come in with a monster offer for Isak. And it's not as bad then for Newcastle fans, is it? Because they've gone and done a load of business in the window. They've gone and signed Elanga, Gueye, João Pedro, whoever it might be. They've gone and got a load of business in. And then all of a sudden they accept a monster offer for Isak. And it's not all that bad. They understand that might happen. We know Isak's going to leave eventually. He's going to leave either this summer or next. But yeah, I think that there's certainly a chance. Certainly a chance. Callum, Kieran, get in an agency and you can get unbanned in 2 hours. Well, I mean, I'd hope so. Honestly, mate, I'm not with any agencies and I don't really want to be. The last time an agency approached me to work with him, they were just, he was a pleb. Knick-knack doesn't always work out, but definitely less risk. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Mikey, be back soon. Something's unexpectedly happened. Oh, God. Sorry, Mikey. Well, look, whatever, mate. Whatever you need to do. Hopefully you, come back when you're ready, man. But let us know everything's all right. The Scrum Down live. England Brill tonight. How's it going, James? Ethan, don't talk shit about my Prowsey. James Ward-Prowse was still a good player. He just didn't do well after leaving Southampton. Rubes, he's just had surgery, so he's not leaving. Who, Isak? Honestly, why are you so tetchy about Isak? So tetchy, you Newcastle fans, about Isak. Tetchy. Fernie would take Ramsdale, but would rather get Sam Johnston, much cheaper than Ramsdale and a decent keeper. Who do you support, Fernie? Are you a Wolves fan? I think we talked about this before. I can't recall who you supported. Forgive me. Jake, you've been so confident about Isak. I'm going to give you some stick key when he signs a new deal, Isak will sign a new deal in 10 days or something when the window shuts and opens again. That's when Newcastle will dot the I's and cross the T's. Listen. You seem to think that Isak signing a new deal would prove something. It wouldn't. Cunha signed a new deal at Wolves like 4 months ago. Look at where he is now. It doesn't matter. He can sign a new contract and leave days later. It happens all the time. So yeah, him signing a new contract doesn't mean anything. And I don't think for 1 second Isak stays at Newcastle beyond next summer. I don't necessarily think he certainly moves this summer, but I am certain he moves next summer at the absolute latest. Rosine, I can't see your comment on Ribery. Yeah, Rosine, I haven't seen your comment on Ribery. I don't know where you're talking about Ribery. There's no comment at all about Ribery. None at all. Yeah, I can't see anything at all from you, Rosine, about Ribery. One sec. Ethan, if my nan had wheels, she would have been a bike. Catch up with all this. Hang on. Chat's flying. Machina Joe, hello mate. Andorra, tough opposition. Croatia beat Gibraltar 7-0. Albania v Serbia should be spicy. Good to see you, Joe. How's it going? It's not been a really fast start, I've got to say. I would have expected England to put a bit more pressure on the Andorrans early on, but no, alas, it's not been that way. Nick Nack, they want 150 million for him this window. Nobody's paying that. And nobody can. Isak can control that. Isak can get that down. There is a way of getting that down. It's not just a club names the price and that's it. Like, gone are those days. Player power rules. If Isak wants to leave and Isak kicks up a fuss, then Newcastle have to come to the negotiating table. Now, I'm not saying that means they have to sell him for 50 million quid. But they have to negotiate. They have to come to the table, because once a player says he wants to leave and he kicks up a fuss, they can't keep him. They can't keep him. Very, very rare do they keep him. In fact, I don't recall a situation where they did keep him. Jake, we've done that one. Nick Nack, James Ward-Prowse is more involved now. Potter has taken over. That's true, but he's still not kicked on in the way that he's certainly not the player he was at Southampton. Let's say that. Rubes, I'm a Brighton fan. Remember, who lives in Newcastle? I know, but you are still Newcastle centric. I don't care what you say, Rubes. You're very tetchy. You're very tetchy about Newcastle. Jake, you're going to get more shit for tissue roll out of Miki when he signs. Even more if he signs for Liverpool, I'll be fuming. Mate, if he signs for Liverpool, I'm just going to look. I'm just going to smile. I'm just going to laugh. Be hilarious. Nick Nack, weird seeing England playing a half-empty stadium. It's meant to be quite warm out there tonight. Yeah, I can imagine so. Lovely in that part of the world. Beautiful. Has anyone seen, if you're watching, has anyone watching on the old, on a desktop, by the way, has anyone seen my new banner? I've got my new banner and profile picture on YouTube. Nobody's commented on it. I'm a bit offended. I got a new banner and profile picture on YouTube. I know it's not out fantastic, like, but it's just something a little bit different. Makes it look a bit more professional. If you're watching on desktop, you probably can't really see it. If you're on your mobile or your tablet, you need to be on a desktop to see it. Leeds. Sorry, Fernie. Leeds. Yes. Oh, we did talk about Ramsdale to Leeds. I'm sorry, Fernie. I knew... Yeah, that's my fault. I'm all over the place. Would you take Ramsdale, but would rather Sam Johnstone, much cheaper than Ramsdale and a decent keeper? Yeah, Sam Johnstone I think would be better. I think Nick Pope as well. You could get Nick Pope from Newcastle as well, Fernie. I think that wouldn't be a bad signing at all, would it, for Leeds? Machina Joe, Newcastle fans love their club. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, we all love our clubs, but they're so blinded by this Isak thing. So blinded by it. Just feels like every Newcastle fan that comes, it's like, he's not leaving. He's not leaving. He's definitely not leaving. Well, I mean, he might want to leave. It's the same thing with Everton fans and Jared Branthwaite. Everton fans are militant about Jared Branthwaite. They keep saying, he's not going to leave. Why would he leave? Well, because he might want to play at a level higher than 15th. Oh, there's a claim for a penalty here. Who's that at the far post who's gone down? Esri Konsa's gone down. He's screaming at the ref for a penalty. Referee says no, it's gone out for a throw-in on the far side. We're 10 minutes in here. This is the first real action of the game. It's been crap. Absolutely crap. Harry Kane's gone over and had a word with the ref saying, listen, you're going to have a look at this. Wait a minute, there is a check. There might be a check here. Oh no, play on. Ref says play on. Razine, mate, whenever I comment Raybury situation, it is not showing. What's the issue? Let me have a look on YouTube and see if I can see any other comments coming in, but I don't know why it's not coming up. Let me go and see. Because that one came through. Every other comment seems to come through. I'm not doubting you, mate, by the way. I just can't understand why it would be. But let me go and have a look and see, because sometimes if I go out of the chat and I go and have a look on YouTube, sometimes it does let, a few things come through. Okay, so, let's see. Machina Joe, did Tuchel sing the anthem? No, he didn't. I don't think he did, actually. Nick Nack looked like Konsa fouled the defender. I didn't see the replay back, but it looked like he was... it was kind of like what we were talking like last night with the Liechtenstein defender. The Liechtenstein defender was looking away from the ball, was coming in over his head, and he was just looking at the defender. There was a little bit of that then. There was a little bit of that. Sweet Lord. Plane flying low over the house. Razine, I commented again. Yeah, mate, I'm looking on YouTube now. I can't see anything at all coming through from you. I'm really sorry. I don't know why it's not coming through. I haven't got a clue. Maybe if you refresh, I don't know. Ronnie Dodge, hey mate, how's it going? Saw you was banned on TikTok. How are you, mate? Yes, yeah, I'm really good, mate. Thank you. I'm only banned on TikToks for 7 days. I'm back on the 13th of June. But yeah, I've been banned on TikTok. And I did absolutely nothing wrong. Gotta say he's referencing to 2013 Ronaldo Ballon d'Or and current Yamal Rafinha situation. Still no. What Ribery is referencing to 2013 Ronaldo Ballon d'Or. Hang on, let me Google it. Ribery Ballon d'Or. Has he said something? Frank Ribery was widely expected to win the 2013 Ballon d'Or, only to lose out to Cristiano Ronaldo. Right. So what are you saying, Razine? Nick Nack, they're defending stoutly as you would expect. That's true. Ball on the edge of the box here for England. They're going to have some shots from distance. That was a good save from the Andorra keeper. First proper shot on target, really. There's been a couple of other shots on target before that, but not anything major. That was a good save from the Andorran goalkeeper to get it away. And the first strike from England. Good save from Madueke's effort, yeah. It was a good save, that. Left-footed, edge of the area. It was one for the cameras, wasn't it, Nick Nack? It was one for the cameras. It's one you'd expect him to save. But save it he did. Ronnie Dodge for what? Honestly, a Man United fan came into the TikTok live and said, I hate Liverpool fans. He was only joking. He was a nice Man United fan. His name's Steve. We see him quite a lot. He came in, he said, I hate Liverpool fans, you know. And I laughed and I said, oh yeah, I hate Man United fans too. It's how it's meant to be. United fans hate us. We hate Man United fans. The world keeps spinning. It's all good. And that was it. That was it. Chat went down. Suspended for 7 days. I appealed it. The appeal got rejected within an hour. They said, no, you've been banned for suspended for hate speech. Hate speech? Because apparently Manchester United fans are a protected characteristic. Fernie, Pope said he wants to stay at Newcastle, but yes, would love him. Yeah, I think Newcastle have to prioritise a keeper if they've got any hope at all of competing in the Champions League and competing in the top 5 next season in the Prem. I think that's a big thing. They're gonna have to make some big decisions, Newcastle, to get where they want to be, and part of that is probably letting some players go who probably you wouldn't want to let go. You know, Nick Pope's been a loyal servant at Newcastle. He's been a big keeper for him, but at the same time, has he been good enough? Probably not. Jesus Christ, we've got some cargo planes flying overhead here. Can you hear that? Pope's perfectly good enough for Newcastle. Do you think? I don't think he is. I think he's just not for a Champions League team. I don't think he is. I think he's made a few errors this season. Newcastle fans have had a go at Nick Pope quite a bit as well. He's not very good at playing out from the back with his feet. Now, I know that's not necessarily the be-all and end-all for every goalkeeper, but you're probably going to need to be comfortable with the ball at your feet if you're against a team that presses quite high in the Champions League. Nick, that won't be easy finding anyone better. Well, Nick Pope isn't in the England squad, is he? You know, you'd have to look at it and think, well, there's probably 3 or 4 very, very decent English goalkeepers that you could get. I don't know. One sec. Scramble in the box here. Gone behind. It's going to be another corner. Cole Palmer to take it, no doubt. Yeah, I think there's probably 2 or 3 keepers just in the England squad who would be better than Nick Pope. Look at Trafford for a kick-off. It's gone over to the far side. It's going to be another corner. It's just a relentless stream of corners here already in the opening 15 minutes in Espanyol. Have England brought more fans than the Andorrans here? Love to know what the capacity is for this one. Or what the attendance is, rather, not the capacity. We know the capacity. Capacity is about 35,000, 40,000, isn't it? Knick-knack, arguable, though. There's not much between our top 5 keepers or so. I think if you look at Alisson, Raya, Ederson, City again, unlucky. Alisson, Raya, Ederson. You've got Emiliano Martinez, who was just on the cusp. Matt Sells was probably one of the goalkeepers of the season last year. Robert Sanchez is obviously the anomaly, but Chelsea are going to spend big to get a new keeper, aren't they? They're going for Mannion. He seems to be the one they're prioritising, but I just look at it and think to myself, how on earth is a Newcastle and Chelsea not going to... I can't see them going forward without a new goalkeeper coming in. England down the left-hand side here. Ball across the face of goal. Must be. Tapping at the back post. It is... Oh, he's put it wide. Who was that? Harry Kane. Jesus. You've got to finish that. That's poor. That was really poor, wasn't it? That was really poor. It is Madueke down the left-hand side. It's a pulled across. Who's that who knocks it back? Who's the one who knocks it back first? Madueke. Kane steps over it for some reason, and then it comes to Curtis Jones, who does very well, actually, under a lot of pressure. Pulls it back to Harry Kane, 6 yards out. And Kane's saying, well done to Curtis Jones. Curtis Jones did really well. He thought Harry Kane was going to tap it in. Kane stepped over the ball. Curtis Jones rescues it, pulls it back, and it ends up going wide. Shocking. Terrible touch from Jones. Kane should have just hit it before then. He should, yeah. Luke Edwards reported 17 hours ago he's at contract renewal will be announced in July. And again, contract means nothing, Jake. Contract means nothing at all. You've got to know that. I'm telling you, contract means absolutely nothing. Doesn't mean he's not going. Jake Pope's distribution is scary, to be fair. Panics me when he's playing the sweeper role too. Brilliant shot stopper, but we do need an upgrade. There you go. Straight from the horse's mouth. Not a horse that he's punched either. Straight from the horse's mouth. Razine, mate, where is my comment going? I don't know. I cannot see any of your comments other than the odd couple that come through asking about where your comment is going. Knick-knack Henderson is my number 1 for England right now. Yeah, I think Dean Henderson's had a good enough season that he should be England's number 1, shouldn't he? But Jordan Pickford's done all right as well. I still agree with what you're saying, though, Knick-knack. I still think that it's not going to be super easy to find a keeper better than Nick Pope. Or rather, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be cheap. Let's say that. It's not going to be cheap to find a keeper. It is going to be... I think there are many, many keepers that are better than him. There's many keepers that they could get that are better than him. Reece Kepa deal agreed with Arsenal. See, I think Kepa's better than Nick Pope. I think Kepa is better than Nick Pope. Kepa's been fantastic for Bournemouth this season. Pickford got a free pass for some reason. Maybe because he's the tournament experience. Yeah, possibly so. He's so annoying though, Jordan Pickford, isn't he? Insta story. What about Insta story? That's bang out of order. Ribery's Insta story. Let me have a look and see if Ribery's done an Insta story. Ribery Instagram story. So you need to win the Champions League to win the Ballon d'Or. Right, okay, I know what you're saying now. So because he felt he should have won it, in 2013, and they're now saying that you need to win the Ballon d'Or. You need to win the Champions League to win the Ballon d'Or. Yeah, I don't think that's the case. You don't need to win the Ballon d'Or to win... Oh, sorry, you don't need to win the Champions League to win the Ballon d'Or. You don't. Fernie, Newcastle, interested in Trafford. Yeah, they've been interested in him for a long time now, haven't they? I still don't think he would be so keen to leave, would he? Would he be that keen to leave Burnley? Feels like a really... I don't know, not an odd move, I guess. And Newcastle have got Champions League football, I get that. But he's number one at Burnley. If he stayed at Burnley and carried on playing, he would stay in the England squad. And I think he would probably still have an opportunity to move on next summer if Burnley went back down. He's risking nothing by staying at Burnley. He's risking quite a bit by going to Newcastle. So I'm not sure he'd be totally devastated if the Newcastle move didn't happen. And equally, I think Newcastle are going to have to pay a fortune for him. You know, they could have got him for 25 million quid last season. They could have got him for that when Burnley went down. But now you're probably looking at 35 million quid for him. Reece going from being the most expensive keeper in the world to having a £5 million release clause is crazy. Yeah, I think they just want the wages off the wage bill, don't they, for Kepa Arrizabalaga. But he's a good keeper. Yeah, I do think he's a good keeper. One of the best saves I've ever seen was from Kepa. If you look at it, I think he was offside, the player who hit it. But if you look at Kepa's save at Villa Park was unbelievable. Razine, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, I thought it was, mate. Yeah, Ribery's Instagram statement. Nick, what do you think about that? Nick Nack, the Ballon d'Or is a farce anyway. It is. Yeah, it doesn't really matter to me. I know it probably does matter to your Mo Salahs and whoever else. You know, it matters a lot to them because it's a statement, isn't it? It's I'm a Ballon d'Or winner, you know. But to me, it doesn't define whether a player's the best or not. Like Suarez, Gerrard didn't win a Ballon d'Or. And there's not... If I was creating an all-time 11, they'd both be in that. Van Dijk too, actually. All three of them. All three of them getting an all-time 11 for me. None of them won a Ballon d'Or. In fact, there's a lot of players who didn't win a Ballon d'Or who would be in the all-time 11, so... Jake, have you heard what Trafford had to say about the Newcastle move, Key? Burnley was going to sell Trafford 6 months ago for 18 million, 25 to 30 million most. Yeah, so there you go. It's not... I don't think it's going to be nearly double, isn't it? It's going to be nearly double. If it was 18 million 6 months ago and it's now nearly 30, 35, whatever, it's double because they've come back up to the Premier League. Reece, Burnley will try and get at least 40 million for Trafford. I think so. Yeah, I think so too. And why shouldn't they? He's England's next number one goalkeeper. Pickford's not long for the England squad. You know, he's on a decline now. Trafford would be the next one, wouldn't he? Twisted Fate, howdy. Which Prem team do you support? I'm a Liverpool fan. Twisted Fate. Who do you support? I'm a Liverpool fan, but we talk about everything on this channel. We do talk about everything, and we watch everything as well. We watch at least one live watch-along pretty much every single day. Mostly club football, but also international football too. We're live for all the Club World Cup games later this month. The Euro Under-21 Championships, the FIFA World Cup qualifiers, like today. And we're doing the Nations League final and the third place playoff tomorrow as well. Nick Nack, just being a Premier League club means you can demand more money. Exactly, yep, you called it. You called it. Here's Cole Palmer coming forward. I still can't believe 26 minutes. Twisted Fate, sake, I gotta leave now. Just kidding, by that comment you could probably guess. Which comment? Which comment are you getting at? Which comment do you think shows my Liverpool bias? because I try to be unbiased. I mean, we've all got our biases, haven't we? Try to be unbiased. I like to think I'm not biased. Jake, can you do a loaded chat in AK? I've seen it on other channels where you donate. Oh, super chat. Yes, I am soon going to be able to do super chats. Yes, but it's only going to be in maybe another week or so. About another week or so. The reason is I've got to hit a certain number of watch hours. So once I've hit a certain number of watch hours, I'll get in to be able to do the memberships and the super chats as well. Nick Nack, the Gerrard one, it's okay, we forgive you. The Gerrard one, I gotta leave means I support United. Listen, Twisted Fate, we've got a lot of Man United fans in here. A lot of Man United fans. And we can peacefully coexist. It's all good. Again, you don't like us, we don't like you, but we can still have a reasonable debate at the footy, I think. It depends how bad you are as a United fan. There's some United fans who'll come in and say things like Bruno Fernandes is a potential Ballon d'Or winner and all that, you know. And there's other Man United fans who are a little bit more reasonable. But yeah, I'd like to. I'm not. You know. I'd like to think I'm a little bit balanced as a Liverpool fan. Like, for example, I've said that I think Man United will come back. I don't think Man United are going to get relegated next season. It's not clickbait. It's none of that. I do think Man United will improve next season and they'll finish higher than they did. There's United fans who come in, believe me, and tell us that United are going to challenge for the title next year. I don't think you're quite going to challenge for the title. I think if you got maybe 7th or 8th, that would be a win for United next year. Reece showed your bias when you wanted Zubamendi carded for the challenge that Pedri made. He still should have got carded for it. He was close to it. Fernie, Trafford would be number 1 at Newcastle, and like you said, Champions League and a team not fighting relegation like probably Burnley will be. And that's true, but it's whether or not he would be number 1 at Newcastle. Nick Pope saying he wants to stay. He might not be number 1 at Newcastle. You know, if you go to a club that's in the Champions League, sometimes you have to compete. It's the same at Chelsea. Robert Sanchez has been in, Petrovic has been in, Jorgensen's been in. You know, when a team's not quite set on the number 1, sometimes it doesn't always pan out that way. That's why I would say it's a risk for him to go to Newcastle. Plus, it's the other things, the other factors. He's moving all his family up north. He might not settle. He might not like it up north. The kids might not settle in school. There's all these things to think about that are factors in whether or not a player actually does all right. Galia, Malawi, can we watch a match? No, we can't, Galia. I can't show the match. Sorry, I cannot show the match. Twisted Fate, my son is a United supporter. Now we've got to breed to keep our fan base going. Well, I've got a little girl, mate. She hasn't quite nailed her colours to the mast just yet. I'm hoping she'll be a Liverpool fan, but yeah, I've got a little girl, so she's still only young, so she's not got time to. I'm probably just gonna start putting Liverpool kits on her, and just that's it. You're wearing Liverpool kits, and that's it. We get enough pictures of you in a Liverpool kit. It's a shame you when you get older. If Liverpool go awful, that's it. You were a Liverpool fan. Jake, Bruno, Tonali, Isak all had to sit on the bench for a while first. Tonali didn't. Tonali only had to sit on the bench for his own fault. Because he was putting bets on him to take a corner in the 64th minute or whatever. Reece, I think Daniel Levy has to be in the top 3 worst owners in football. Why do you think that? Why do you think that? I'm really... Is anyone else really puzzled by this whole Daniel Levy hate? Like, he's damned if he does, he's damned if he doesn't with Ange Postecoglou. I am disappointed with the Ange Postecoglou decision. But I just think every time I ask a Spurs fan, why is Daniel Levy so bad? You don't really get an answer beyond he sacked Mourinho before a cup final. And now this Ange thing. Like, that's it. Honestly, they don't realise how bad owners can be. Daniel Levy, believe me, that's not a bad operator at your football club. There are bad owners. He's not one of them. Spurs. Oh, I don't know why I said Spurs. It was Madwecki who was there. Knick-knack, why is it still 0-0? I mean, it's just not been a good start for England. It's been really poor. It's been really, really poor. Knick-knack, man, you must have an ageing fan base. The glory days were a long time ago now. Well, I grew up hating United because of how good they were. I was a Liverpool fan because my dad was a Liverpool fan. And, you know, like I said, started going to games when he went to literally every Liverpool game from 1972 onwards. So I was always going to be a Liverpool fan. But, yeah, United fans who enjoyed the 90s, they're now raising kids, aren't they? They're now in their 30s and 40s, and they're raising kids who hate their dads for having given them this torment. But you know what? We say that, and I'm saying that. That makes me a little bit of a hypocrite to say that, because United have still won far more than any other club in the last 10 years. They've still won loads more than like the average club. I mean, they've still won far more than most clubs. So it's not like they've been starved of success and they're down the bottom. They are a bit of a banter club, but it's just because of how big and gargantuan they are. They're a huge club. I would never ever argue otherwise. If I'm really honest, if you ask me now, would I rather Man United win the Premier League or Manchester City? I think I'd rather Manchester United. I feel robbed every time City win a trophy. Kind of feel the same a little bit when Chelsea do it, and even Newcastle to a degree now. Jake Dubravka and Pope are good keepers. I don't think he'll come in and be number one straight away. Eddie will get him ready like he's done with other signings. Yeah, see, there you go. Yeah, I agree, mate. I think the goalkeeper position's a bit of an unusual one in that goalkeepers tend to need a bit of time to come in and get to know the defence and communication and all that sort of thing. And, you know, does the manager want me to come and claim crosses or punch crosses or stay on my line, or does he want me high? Does he want me off my line a lot, or does he want me to stay back? Shot from distance, another shot on target for England, but another easy save for the Andorra keeper. This is really poor from England. 35 minutes in, it's been a dreadful first half. Dreadful. Tony Snooker fan, hi mate, we have to beat these, or it's a really bad result. Yeah, one of the worst in many, many years, you'd have to say. Knick-knack, the players are far too static. Let's have some movement. Reece, you're forgetting to mention you were once a Man U fan, Kee. No, well, only in the sense that I was put in a Manchester United kit when I was 4 years old. Against my will, I've got to say as well. And I got a picture of me tuck at Chester Zoo wearing the black Man United away kit. And that's that picture does still exist, but I will not let it see the light of day. So no, I'm a Liverpool fan as far as anyone else is concerned. That's the only. As soon as my dad found out I'd wore a Man United top, put it straight in the bin. Went out and got a Liverpool kit the day after. Reece sacked a manager 13 days after winning a European title. I know, but that's only one thing though. That's only one thing. Twisted Fate, Glazers are far, far worse than Levy. Levy has made Spurs one of the most profitable clubs in the world, correct. Built one of the world's best stadiums, and he's one of the most shrewdest operators in football. I don't understand where the Daniel Levy hate comes from. Reece, that 8-2 loss to Man United is forever burnt in my memory. Tony Snooker fan, we have to beat these if we really don't. Do you agree? Yeah, absolutely, Tony Snooker fan, yeah. There's a little water break here. A water break for the players. 35 minutes in, Thomas Tuchel. I'm not all that impressed, Tommy. Not all that impressed with this, Tommy Tuchels. Twisted Fate, I'm glad Ange got sacked. He made my son cry. Oh, bloody hell. That wasn't that lad on the Europa League final, was it? That wasn't your lad, was it? It's a shame. It is a shame when you see kids crying in cup finals. But, yeah, I mean, even the City fan in the Palace final the other week, saw the young City fan crying. They show it every time. They're bloody awful, aren't they, television cameras? They always pan to the young kid in the crowd crying. Jake, Lewis Hall, Tino, Livramento, Gordon. Come on, man. They all have to sit on the bench and learn the Newcastle way. Gordon, Hall, Tonali, Isak all came in and scored. It's the Eddie Howe way. It works. Oh, you're full of shit, you, Jake. You're so funny. Full of shit. Oh, my goodness me. Nick Nack, I'm bored, but these games are always like this. Anfield, good to see you, mate. What's your name, lad? What's your team? I'm a Liverpool fan, mate. My name's Kee. Most people call me Kee, or they call me far worse, to be honest, but most people call me Kee. And I'm a Liverpool fan. Nick Nack will probably get one just before half-time, then get some joy when the subs come on. You're right. It's far too static. Far too static. We're not moving the ball quick enough. Look at the state of that. Look at this. How do you call yourself? Honestly, we could get a team of players in the chat to go and have a game against these. That was pathetic. A 5-yard pass and it basically went straight out of play. Absolutely shocking. Ball over to the far post, cleared away by Andorra. We're making these Andorran defenders look like prime Maldini and Baresi. Oh my god. This is so bad. They are giving us a kick like off the ball though. There's a lot of like late challenges going in, I'll say that. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe, oh my god, what feet that is. Oh my god, if this goes in. Oh, who was that? Who was that? Was that my mate Curtis Jones down the right hand side? Honestly, whoever that was. No, it was Morgan Rogers. Wow. Morgan Rogers. Sweet Lord. That was absolutely incredible down that right-hand side, wasn't it? The turn, the skill to get in behind. Unreal. Machina Joe, I thought Andorra were worse. They're organised. They are. They're very, very organised, but I think England haven't done anywhere near enough to try and break them down. Shot must be miles over the bar. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. We've barely... That keeper could have been chilling with a cocktail. Oh, Morgan. Honestly, 60 million quid is allegedly the price that Aston Villa have put on him this summer. 60 million quid. I think that's a rip-off. Honestly, I think you'd be ripping Villa off if you paid 60 million quid for him. If Liverpool can pay 60, I'd rather us go and get 60 million for it. Go and pay 60 million for him. He is absolutely incredible. Sell Diaz and go and get Morgan Rogers. And I'm only saying that because Diaz wants to leave. I love Diaz. Love Luis Diaz. If he has to stay, I'm fine with Luis Diaz staying, to be honest. But if he does leave, Morgan Rogers, the one. Twisted Fate, we beat these guys 5-0 last time we played. Now it's looking like a 2-0 game. Yeah, 2-0 to Andorra, if anything. 2-0 to Andorra. Never mind 2-0 to England. Honestly, these have got as much chance of scoring as we have. It's been crap. Machina Joe, God save the king, ringing round the stadium. The hell, I really didn't know Rogers had feet like that. Yeah, it was very, very sharp, that, wasn't it? Very sharp feet. And he got to the byline, he put a decent little pull back there. He just needed someone to be running in on it. Paul Campbell, England to lead at half-time, 3.5, getting it in now. You think there's going to be a goal in the next 5 minutes, Paul? That is brave. That is very, very brave. Yeah, you would have got very good odds on 0-0 half-time, Nick Nack. Yeah, very good shout, that. 0-0 at half-time. It's going to be a free kick to England here. Oh, no, it's not. It's going to be a free kick to Andorra. Nick Nack, Andorra have probably improved since the last time we played them. Jake Levy is disliked because Spurs should be way ahead of clubs like Villa and Newcastle. They've caught up. They should have really nailed those top six and had it easy for far too long. Spurs didn't see Toon or Villa coming. I think Spurs have a better team. I think Spurs have a better squad. I think if you give Ange Postecoglou another year, or you give a good manager that Spurs squad, I think they'll be back up in the top six. I think Spurs squad is better than Newcastle's squad. Seriously. And I'm not saying that just to wind you up, Jake, this time. I really do. I think Spurs' squad is better than Newcastle's squad. I think Villa's squad is better than Newcastle's squad. But I think Spurs' squad is better than Newcastle's squad. If you look at player for player, I think Vicario's better than Pope. I think a Doggy. You look at the Spurs' entire back four is better. Spurs' entire back four is better than Newcastle's. Doggy, Porro, Van der Ven, Romero. Not a single Newcastle player gets into that. Midfield, I think Kulusevski, maybe. Maddison, maybe. Gets into the front three, maybe, or in that midfield three. I'm not sure. Nick Nack shows how crap Andrew was to say Spurs have a strong squad, even with the injuries. I think Spurs do have a decent squad. It's just frustrating, isn't it? That beyond when they got the injuries, they always ended up having to play. Like Archie Gray had to play centre back. Archie Gray had to play centre back for a big chunk of the season for Spurs. That was always what killed them, I think. Twisted Fate, Spurs and United shouldn't have finished where they did. That was an anomaly season. Levy isn't responsible for that, to be fair. And that's what I mean. I think that there's no problem at all. Like, Levy wasn't really getting protested when Spurs went into the Champions League final a few years ago, were they? They weren't protesting then. It just always seems to happen when the team is struggling on the pitch. It's the same with the Glazers at Man United. When Man United were doing all right and they started moving up the league and whatever, you didn't hear a peep out of the Glazers. All of us, or a peep out of the fans about the Glazers, really. Now, all of a sudden, the crap, the yellow and green scarves come out everywhere. There's very, very little you hear about the Glazers when United are playing well. As soon as they aren't playing well, it's the Glazers' problem again. Machina Joe, Croatia beat Andorra 7-0 many years ago. Can't remember when. Angie's the cause of the injuries. Croatia beat Gibraltar, was it 7-0 last night? Croatia just putting teams to the sword. Maybe it's just a Croatian thing. But yeah, Ange the cause of the injuries. I've heard that touted, the fact that he runs the players into the ground, and there's probably an argument for that, isn't there? Probably is an argument for that he runs them too hard in training, and therefore they pick up a lot of muscle injuries and, things like that. And maybe that's a red flag for him going forward. Maybe that's a learn for him going forward. But equally, you could argue that produced some of the best football. I think Spurs, the way that they were, probably in the first half of the season, actually, when they started the season under Ange, and even last season under Ange, I thought they were terrific. I thought they were really, really good. Nick Nack, I think they have a good squad too, but every half-decent manager figured out how to play against them. I do think tiredness was a factor. If you look at a lot of Spurs games, I can't remember, there was a statistic that came out on this, and it was something along the lines of Spurs conceded a lot of goals. I think it was after the 70th minute, and that obviously suggests flagging, tired legs. And maybe that's again maybe that leans into what you're saying there, Joe, about injuries. Ange being responsible for the injuries, he might also be responsible for the tiredness, and therefore the players not having. They start incredibly fast, but as the game goes on, they tire, and then they struggle in the second half of games or the final third of games. Razine, according to Matteo Moretto, Wolves want to sign Gerard Martin. In my opinion, we should keep him. He's got a great potential. Fans criticise him always. He lacks decision-making and defensive take-ons. Gerard Martin, didn't he play against Inter? Yeah, didn't he play against Inter? Because Koundé was out. I thought he did all right that night, didn't he? Callum, how's it going, Callum? Good to see you, mate. Spurs have lost 2 out of 10 finals under Levy, if I'm not mistaken. Manager's fault, not Levy, says Machina Joe. Okay, yeah, that's very fair assessment. Callum, the Tottenham fan, are you not live on TikTok? No, mate, I'm suspended on TikTok. I'm suspended or banned. I'm suspended on TikTok for 7 days. I can't go live on TikTok until the 13th of June. Annoyingly. So I'm only on YouTube for the next week. Nick Nack, that's a drawback to high-intensity football. Very true. Angie's numbers are shocking. Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday, weren't we? Yeah. Lots of Just poor, very poor, very poor. But I still think, at least in part, he should have been given another season. He should have been given another opportunity after what he did in the European Cup. Even if, do you know what? I think if I was Daniel Levy, and maybe this is just me, maybe this is my nature, maybe that's the flaw that I've got to own. But I think even if I didn't think that Ange was the right manager, I would have had to let him fall on his sword. If you know what I mean. Like, I would have given him the opportunity and watched him fail. Even if I knew he was going to fail. Even if I had no belief, no conviction in him. He's done something in terms of winning that Europa League. He's done something that has changed the entire perception of the fan base. And as a result, he's earned a stay of execution. So I think the club could have been firm with him and they could have said to him, look, you know, as a result of the situation that you put us in the league form, we're not going to back you with signings that you want. We're going to have more of a committee approach on the signings because, look, what we don't want to happen is we sign a load of players that you want and then you leave in 3 months' time if, you know, we decide it's not working. So what we're going to do is we're going to have more of a committee type approach on these signings so that the next manager who comes in doesn't come into a load of players he doesn't want and the club isn't left with that liability. If I was Daniel Levy, I would have left him to fall on his sword. I would have left him to if he is going to perform badly, let him perform badly. Let him perform badly. Let fan perception change, and then let him go. That would have been the smart thing to do for Daniel Levy, because now he's got an Ange-shaped cloud hanging over his shoulder, hasn't he? All of the Ange-in supporters hate Daniel Levy, whereas if he'd have just let it happen, and look, if he'd have let it happen and actually Ange proved him wrong and Ange was brilliant again, then he looks like a genius for sticking with him, doesn't he? That would have been the smart thing to do for Daniel Levy. Instead, I think he's gone maybe head over his heart. Twisted Fate, my issue with being a Man United supporter right now is even if we got Mbermo, Gyökeres on top of Cunha, we still need a 6, an 8, a left wing back and a goalkeeper. Exactly. And does it not feel, Twisted Fate, does it not feel a little bit like Amorim is prioritising that attack over all those other positions? Because I can't see you spending maybe Gyökeres, Amorim and Mbermo, which would undoubtedly be a very, very good front three. You go and get that front three and you just leave everything else. Does that not... That would ring alarm bells for me. Knick-knack, 0-0 at half-time. Wow, yeah. I mean, Paul Campbell, who was in the chat just a few moments ago saying that he backed there to be a goal. On the 40th minute, he backed there to be a goal in the next 5 minutes. Sadly for Paul, that wasn't the case. Osama Bin Laden, Henderson, what a joke this is. Mate, Osama, I don't think that was a Henderson issue. I don't think that was anything to do with Henderson. Henderson is but one issue there. Razine, mate, isn't PK owner of AFC Andorra Football Club? Is he? I don't know, you know. I don't know. Let's have a look. FC Andorra Wiki. FC Andorra owner Gerard Piqué. There you go. I didn't know that. You taught me something new, Razine. There you go. Yeah, I didn't know that. Knick-knack, it'll be interesting to see where Ange ends up next. Machina Joe, do you remember I'm in Australia? I know Ange. Ange is the cause of the injuries. All throughout Ange's managerial career, same hamstring injuries. That high line, exposed, sprint. He's a hamstring killer. It's very... okay, yeah. I mean, I know that I've heard that many times before. I haven't heard anyone say it so forcefully and assertively as you there, Joe. So... fair enough, I'll take that. Yeah, maybe that is the case. Maybe that's what it is. Well, not maybe. Certainly, that is what it is. But it's still earned him the position that he's got in management. He's still progressed in management, hasn't he? Like, whatever you think of that, and the muscle injuries and the hamstring injuries and all these things that he's generated with his style of play has also undoubtedly got him to the position that he's in. So maybe there's a learn there. Maybe Ange Postecoglou needs to wind it in a little bit, and maybe there's benefits to it and doubt and cons to it. Pros and cons like anything else. Jaden, what are we doing? We're doing Andorra against England. I assume you're talking about what are we doing? The England squad. Yeah, if it's that case, mate, then England have been dreadful. We've been awful. Knick-knack, all the fans hated Levy anyway. I know, but they never seem to voice it, or at least I've never heard them voice it. I've never heard Spurs fans going in on Levy, like, all the time. Chimey, someone is waiting for you on the Netherlands stream. Well, I am popular. What can I say? Osama, I agree. England are crap, but starting Henderson in 2025 is a joke. Knick-knack, I know, strange what Tuchel sees in a 34-year-old Henderson. He shouldn't be anywhere near the squad. I do agree. I think Jordan Henderson is a very, very underappreciated player in his entire career, and I include Liverpool fans in that, by the way. Jordan Henderson is not just a good leader, he's not just a good captain, he is a very, very good player. And he sets standards, I think he's someone that managers trust. So, this isn't just a Thomas Tuchel thing, you've got to remember Jurgen Klopp continued to play him. You've got to remember that, he's playing for Ajax, he's not playing for a horrific side, he's gone and... He's still playing for England managers now. He's played for Thomas Tuchel, and even before that, he played for Gareth Southgate while he was in Saudi Arabia and everything. So, managers trust Jordan Henderson. There has to be a reason for that. And I think the reason is that he's a better player than many give him credit for. Is it fair that he's starting and maybe Morgan Gibbs-White isn't? No, I think Morgan Gibbs-White is a better player than Jordan Henderson. Not necessarily the same sort of player. But I would like to see Adam Wharton in there. I would like to see Morgan Gibbs-White in there. I would like to see Curtis Jones in there in his more favourable position. All of that would make more sense to me. Twisted Fate. I think the attack defo needs prioritising, to be honest, given our lack of goals last season. It's needed. With a good attack, at least Man United can try and outscore teams for the season and then focus at other positions next. Well, it seems like, I don't know how true this is, Twisted Fate, I don't know how true this is, but the allegations seem to be that Manchester United are in quite a tight position with FFP, whereby if they had two options this summer. They could either rein it all in and go and sell Sancho, sell Rashford, sell Onana, sell Højlund, sell Anthony, sell everyone, right? Sell Menu, sell Garnacho, sell everyone, and put all of the spend very little and put all of their investment into, getting their PSR stuff on track and everything. Maybe putting in players like Collier and Harry Amas, putting their faith in those players next season. And I think they've gone the other way. Rather than try and rein the PSR thing in and try and balance it off, what they've done is they've gone, right, what we'll do is we'll chuck absolutely everything and try and sign Gyökeres and Cunha and Mbeumo, and then we'll go and get a centre mid, and we'll go and get a left wing back, we'll go and get a top keeper, we'll go and get a centre back, we'll go and spend loads of money this summer, and then we have to get Champions League football. I think it's critical now for Man United to get Champions League football if they spend this much, because next season is when all the losses come in. That 3-year loss calculation for Manchester United is huge next season if they get this one wrong. Knick-knack. Osama. Karen Carney, better husband. Oh, wow. Machina Joe talking about Croatia. They beat a Terry Venables-led Socceroos in a friendly 3 days before the World Cup in 1998 started. 7-0 whitewash. Australia had a strong team. Golden generation got schooled. In 1998, the golden generation of Australia, who would that have been then? That would have been maybe Mark Viduka, Bosnich. Mark Viduka, Bosnich. Who else would have been? Harry Kewell. I'm trying to think of Australian players from the 90s now. You've killed me there. I am furious that I can only remember 4 Australian players from the 90s. I shouldn't have a football channel if I can't name more than 4 Australian players from my childhood. That is ridiculous. I'm sorry. I feel ashamed. Give me a minute. Nick Nack, if you can't play 2 strikers against Andorra, when can you? That's true. Yeah, I think Ivan Toney has to come on. Nick Nack, Man U do have players they can sell. Problem is the players' clubs will pay more money for the ones they should probably be keeping. Yeah, Mainu and Garnacho are the ones that they need to get rid of for the PSR, for the calculation. But I think those are players they should be keeping. I think if Man United have players like Garnacho and Mainu and they're selling him, it's quite disappointing, I think. They shouldn't be keeping hold of your Casemiros and your Bruno Fernandezes and selling Mainus and Garnachos. That doesn't make any sense at all. Chimey is the right way to do it and it's long overdue. I don't know who we're talking about. Bosnich, Kuhl. We've done Viduka, Bosnich and Kuhl. There's others I'm missing. I'm trying to think. It was before the days of Kale. Twisted Fate, I heard the reports, and the reports are actually pretty false. When Sir Jim came in, he invested money into the club, bringing down our loss and giving a decent breathing room for PSR. Yeah, but that's only for this for this season, isn't it? Like, if you look at... This is a lot of Man United fans have come and said this in this chat, mate. They've come in and said Man United are actually the 5th healthiest club in the Premier League. And they've showed that thing that The Athletic did. You know, The Athletic did a big article a couple of days ago, didn't they? Where they talked about Manchester United being in a great position for PSR. They are. There's no doubt Man United are in any problem at all this season. Next season is when all those cumulative losses come in. And that's with no Champions League football as well. That is where that's going to be a big hit for them. It's going to go from like here to here. It's going to drop massively. Unless they rein in some signings or whatever in the meantime. Machina Joe, Ange lost a lot of games without any injuries at Spurs. With a full team to choose from, it's been going on since the Chelsea game in the first season. It's just who we are, mate, the league. Oh, well. Hey, well, listen, maybe you're right. I've got a lot of sympathy for Ange. And I quite liked his prickly nature in interviews. He brought something different to the Premier League. And I value managers who can come in and throw a bit of caution to the wind and really have a good attack. You know, you want managers like that. You don't want managers like Pep Guardiola and Dyche and Allardyce and... I know I'm saying those 3 in the same bracket, but you know what I mean. You don't want managers who are pragmatic and overly cautious and, you know... They build a robust defence and very organised and not just really risk averse. You don't want that. That's not football. That's not what people want to see. So yeah, I quite like Ange. Nick Nack, no European football could be a blessing in disguise for United. It could, but I'm not sure it will be. I think it's massively overplayed, the 1 game a week. Nick Nack, Viduka was a monster. Viduka was exceptional. And Viduka was timeless as well, wasn't he? He seemed to be... I think Viduka was one of those players who seemed to get better the older he got. Like, I remember him being unbelievable at Leeds. And then he went to... Was he at Newcastle first or Borough first? I can't remember. But he was at Borough, he was at Newcastle, and he was getting on. And he still could, like... Oh, he was so good. So good, Mark Viduka. Ned Zelich was a baller. I know Viduka. I met him in 1993. Wow. Okay. Cool. I like that. I mean, I can't say I know any footballers. I'm really curious now to see Australia 98 squad. Right, I want to see who we were missing here. Right, Australia had... Were Australia in the 98 FIFA World Cup squad? They weren't, were they? Were they in 2002 World Cup squad, I wonder? I don't think they were in that, were they either? Why do we not know how come I need to find out the squad for Australia. Chimey, we simply cannot sell Garnacho and Mainu. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It's the one that they need to do, though, from like a financial perspective, because those players cost nothing. Those players cost the club nothing, and if you sold them, you'd get maybe 130, 140 for the per, and that's 140 million that goes straight onto the onto United's bottom line, isn't it? Machine Joe, Terry Venables was a good manager. Yeah, Eltel. Very good manager. Osama bin Galant, PSR, just to screw the small clubs. Man United had a 40 million COVID allowance. Other teams were given 1 million, created by the Red Cartel for the Red Cartel. Hang on a second, Osama. Who do you support here? Who do you support, Osama? I've got to ask the question. Because the Red Cartel is a phrase only used by a select number of clubs. And if I had to guess, you're either a Newcastle fan, a Villa fan, or an Everton fan. There's not many other clubs who use that phrase. Machine Joe, I agree about Pep. Boring football. I hate how City play. Yeah, Pep Guardiola just plays really mechanical football. That's how I feel about it. I think he's a good manager. Very good manager, obviously, but just plays really just mechanical, methodical, like really pass, not quick enough. Sam, but I support Andorra today. Back to Newcastle tomorrow. Good lad. All right, I like that. See, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I don't really support England either, for what it's worth. Like, if Andorra were to win here, I wouldn't be angry. I'd find it quite funny, if anything. Callum Coyle, England win World Cup incoming. I can't see it. Not with performances like this. England aren't winning the World Cup, Callum. Knick-knack, has Pep Ball had its day? I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. I think hopefully there'll be a new wave of coaching style. Because do you know what it is? Do you know what the problem is? Pep Guardiola's style of play seems to have infected football from top to bottom, like grassroots football. You know, you can go and see Pep Guardiola football sometimes with teams lower down the leagues. You know, I remember going and watching. I've told this story a couple of times. But I went watching my nephew play in a game, and he was maybe 13, 14. And I went watching him play footy with his team, whoever it was at the time. And the coach of the opposition team was telling the players, these young lads, 13, some 14, but 13 years of age for the most part, telling them that, like, don't take chances, don't take risks, lad. Like, you know, pass. There was none of that. Like, do you know what? If you think you can beat him, drop a shoulder and go and run past him. Go and beat him for pace. Go and, you know, beat him with your strength, beat him with your pace. Try and do a bit of skill and try and knock it past him. Whatever you think. Like, surely at that age, I feel like at that age, 12, 13, 14, you should be saying to people, enjoy football, learn the individualism of football, try and become, you know, you've got to perfect that part of it. The mechanical side, the strategic part, and what position of the pitch you should be in, and all that can come later. Or you can learn it in your own time, but like you've got to let kids be kids a little bit as well. It's really frustrating. Really, really frustrating when you see young kids being coached to, you know, don't take chances, always pass it back. You've always got the keeper to go back to. No, don't tell them that. Tell them to make a pass for. If you think there's a pass on, pass it. And if it goes wrong and you give the ball away, so what? You and your team will go and win it back. That's what you should do. If you lose the ball, you know, help your team win it back. Try and make it right in other ways. Losing the ball is part of the game. You shouldn't be focusing on don't lose the ball. Madness. Absolute madness. Machina Joe, they lost a playoff against Iran away goals in front of 100,000 at the MCG. Heartbreak, they were up 2-0. Twisted Fate, Osama blaming United for PSR when PSR is holding us hostage most times. Also, Prem allowed us to be taken up on debt, which chokeholds our club. But okay, it's created for us. PSR, I think, look, all teams in the Premier League signed up to PSR. So the idea that it's certainly built for one team or other teams over another. This must be 1-0. Must be 1-0. There it is. Finally 1-0. Harry Kane with the goal. Thank the Lord. It was the scrappiest, scruffiest, most horriblest, ridiculousest goal you're ever likely to see. Who plays the initial ball in from the right-hand side? I think that might have been Curtis Jones. Again, whoever plays that ball in, it was a lovely slide rule pass. Harry Kane runs onto it. He gets a touch. The keeper makes a very big save. The keeper's been Andorra's... I'm not even going to say he's been Andorra's best player. The keeper for Andorra has been the best player on the pitch. Been the best player on the pitch. Ball gets played through. Harry Kane, little flick. Keeper saves it. Who knocks this in? Great pass, that. I want to see who knocks that pass in. And then Madueke gets the assist eventually. But I want to see who gets that initial pass to Harry Kane. Who was that? The pass, the first pass to Harry Kane. That's what we want to see. I might have to rewind this because I've got to see who puts that first ball into Kane. Because that's what created this. That is what created the chance. I think it's Curtis Jones, I'm telling you. It is, it's number 17. It's number 17, Curtis Jones. So Curtis Jones has created that goal for England. I don't care what anyone says. Curtis Jones with an unbelievable pass there. Fabulous pass. Shay472, I'm the same. No matter what players or manager England have, it's always boring. Knick-knack, if we draw this, Serbia will be favourites to win the group. Well, there you go. We've done it now, haven't we? We've done it. Our group is such a joke. We couldn't have asked for easier opposition. Andorra will have to come out now. Yeah, this is it now. We'll get them on the counter-attack. I've got England -2 here, so I'm desperate for England to put some shine, some gloss on this performance. I've got England to win with Andorra having a 2-goal head start. So if England don't get another 2, I am goosed. I'm in real trouble. Knick-knack, it's Andorra, calm down. We all know they won't. Osama, PSR does not affect Man U or Chelsea or City. Special favours, selling women's teams, buildings, write-offs, special allowances. PSR was designed after American owners wanted to eliminate relegation. No, I'm not sure that was the case. PSR was coming in long before that. But I will say you're right. You are right that Manchester United, well, Manchester City and Chelsea certainly are bending the rules an awful lot. Now, whether or not they get away with those bending of the rules is a completely different thing. That's still to be determined, hasn't it, Osama? That is still to be determined. If City get punished and United get punished and Chelsea get punished, then, the rules have been as they should have been. But you're right. For as long as City and Chelsea are selling women's teams and hotels to themselves, then other teams are going to look at it and go, well, hang on, I'm going to have a little... Well, we might do that. Aston Villa are on about doing that. Aston Villa, there was an article that came out the other day that said Aston Villa are currently in the process of looking into selling their women's team to boost their PSR position. And they would look at it and go, well, hang on a minute, Manchester City, Chelsea have done that, so why can't we do that? And the argument from the Premier League and others would be, well, hang on a minute, Chelsea are still being investigated for it. Chelsea are still being looked into for it. But as long as there's not been a punishment, then, Villa are going to keep going for it, aren't they? Machina Joe, August 98, Mark Bosnich, Steve Horvath, Craig Moore, Robbie Slater, Vidmar, Tony Vidmar, yeah, Mark Viduka, Harry Kuehl, Stan Lazaridis, John Aloisi, Coventry legend, John Aloisi. Osama, I can taste your oil money tears. PSR got a special modification after Newcastle takeover. APT changed protectionism. Listen, The thing with Newcastle, that was the right thing to do, though, Osama. I've got to say, that was the right thing to do with Newcastle. You can't allow Newcastle to come in and spend the same way that Roman Abramovich did for Chelsea, for example. That wouldn't have been the right thing to do. That wouldn't have been the right thing to do. And the Premier League has learned its lesson, if anything else. Roman Abramovich came in and broke the Premier League. And, you know, the consequence of that is that Chelsea are now a super team. The lesson learned from that is that can't happen again. The lesson learned isn't, well, everyone, we should, if we get a super rich owner, we can spend all we want because Chelsea did. No. That's not fair, mate. That's not fair. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see super owners coming in and taking clubs over and just taking them up. That's not the right thing. 1 second, Nick Nack, what are you saying? England -2 was what? 1.6. I think about 1.4 nearly. 1.4 I got for it. Wasn't much. Long ball forward here. It's over to Madueke. Come on, England. It's humiliating if you only win 1-0 here. Over to the far post. Jude Bellingham. Back to Reece James. Is Saka not on the bench? I would have hoped we'd have seen more of Bukayo Saka in this. Knick-knack, 3 points is what matters, though. It is, yeah, it is what matters. Well, it's what matters to everyone else, not what matters to me. I need another 2 goals for England. Yeah, no, Saka. Saka isn't even in the team. So, Jordan Henderson gets it out to Ezri Konza. Ball into the box. Keeper saves. This is not good. This is not good. Osama, it was not the right thing to do at all. APT is distinctly unfair. The horse has bolted. No club can grow under PSR. If you buy a business, you do it at your own risk. Money isn't everything. Look at Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United. Hundreds of millions down the bin. No, I think it was the right thing to do. The club, the Premier League has to protect its users, its teams, its clubs. It has to protect its brand. I don't think it's the right thing that a club can be bought out by whoever that club might be. It's not picking on Newcastle, whoever that club might be. If it had been Leeds, if it had been Forest, if it had been anyone, doesn't matter. Sheffield Wednesday. If they get bought out by a super rich person from whatever country, again, no, it doesn't matter what country they're from, super rich person who wants to spend billions and billions of pounds on investing in the team, I don't think that's the right thing for the Premier League, and I don't think it's the right thing for clubs to be able to spend whatever they want to spend. Yeah, I don't think that's the right thing at all. You may disagree, that's totally fine. I don't think that's the right thing at all. I don't think that's fair. And I think there is a way to grow, by the way. You say there isn't a way for clubs to grow. I have to completely disagree. I think there is a way for clubs to grow, and we've seen that. We've seen clubs grow. We've seen Newcastle grow. You know, you're saying Newcastle can't grow. Newcastle and Villa have grown. In spite of PSR, you're telling me that Newcastle have grown. Villa have grown. You know, we've seen interlopers into not only the top 4 and top 5, but the top 6, the top 7. Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, Brentford now knocking on the door. Brighton too, sorry. Brighton even higher. You know, we've seen the likes of Palace and Newcastle winning domestic cups. This season, I think, is a great example, if anything, that there is real competition in the Premier League. I just disagree that that's the right thing. Knick-knack, it's a training exercise. And there you go, yeah, Bournemouth, Brighton, Brentford seem to be growing. Absolutely they do. Bournemouth, Brighton, Brentford, Forest. We've seen them climb up the table. I mean, evidently, people seem to think there's a massive gap between the Premier League and the Championship. Does that indicate there's no real gap between the teams growing in the Premier League and in the Championship? I don't know. Machina Joe, I used to laugh at Australian NRL Rugby League salary cap. That's what football needs. It's very unfair these days. Rich clubs, same clubs win everything all the time. Hilarious. The problem with the salary cap is I think the Players' Union have already indicated that they would strike if there was a salary cap. Because obviously they're earning... Some players are earning £1 million a week, and understandably they don't want to go to a world where all of a sudden that's significantly reduced. So, I can understand why some players are a little bit hesitant, but you are right that it all falls down the ladder, doesn't it? Some players are paid a ridiculous amount of wages, and then that affects ticket prices, that affects shirt prices, and all the other things around a football club, which also affects TV money and all that stuff, sponsorship money. Twisted Fate, fine, take away PSR and watch how much United can spend without PSR. We are handicapped by PSR, so this narrative is absolutely waffle. Osama, Forest had to break the rules to stay up this year again. The promoted teams will be relegated. I disagree. I disagree with the promoted teams. I think the promoted teams will not be relegated. I think at least one stays up. But yeah, let's wait and see. Maybe you're right. Maybe you are right, Osama. And if I'm wrong, we can have that conversation at the end of the season. I promise you I'll still be here, mate. I've had a bet with people on this channel, an actual money bet, that there'll be at least one promoted side staying up next season. At least one. Nick Nack, Brighton, buy low, sell high. Brighton are a fine example. Yeah, Moneyball team, you called them, Osama. No, they're a fine example. Brighton know how to grow the team. They buy players, sell them when they're at their absolute peak, and then they go and buy young players again and do it again, and they keep, evidently, it's working. It's working. Osama, one season is not growth. Wolves finished 7th one year, Burnley win in Europe. Growth for me involves consistency. Right, Newcastle. Look at Newcastle. We're a Newcastle. You're telling me you're handicapped by PSR and clubs can't grow? You've massively improved in the last few years. Chance. Madueke. Right, honestly, Madueke is not an England player. He's not an England player. He's shocking. He's absolutely shocking. I know he's already got an assist in this game, but I've thought it all season. He was crap at Chelsea. He's crap for England. I don't know how Madueke gets in over... Again, we talked about it the other day. Anthony Gordon, Jared Bowen, any of them. Any of them. Both far, far better. Machina Joe, Everton top 8 very soon. They hammered Newcastle in that last game. Well, one swallow doesn't make a summer. But no, I don't think Everton are going to be in the top 8. I think Everton are going to struggle again next season. Especially with the players leaving the club. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, of course, has confirmed that he's leaving Everton. What do we think about that? Where do we think he's next likely to go? Nick Nack, have we had any subs yet? I'll be surprised if Madueke gets in the Chelsea team next year. Twisted Fate, he's playing for Andorra. Well, no, we haven't had any subs yet. Is the quick answer to that, Nick Nack. Nick Nack's second half of the season form for Everton, though, was pretty decent. It was okay. It was okay. Before Everton beat Fulham, obviously they finished the season quite strongly with a few decent performances with the game against Southampton, the game against Fulham, the game against Newcastle. Strong few wins at the end. But if you looked before that, the form was pretty much identical to Sean Dyche's last 11 games. Sean Dyche's last 11 games and Moyes' first 11 games, whatever. There was a spell of 11 games where David Moyes took over at Everton, where the points was effectively the same. Now, Moyes has then compounded that by going and winning the last 3, so it's going to look massively different now. But yeah, there was a spell where Dyche and Moyes were about the same. Oh, here we go. Here's Rat Boy. Here's Rat Boy coming on. Everton's second half of the season form was better than Forest and Bournemouth. Well, again, Bournemouth's form was shocking in the second half of the season. Forest too, to be honest. But Bournemouth in particular were dreadful. Henderson's coming off here for Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think, and Cole Palmer coming off for Eze. So Trent's going to go into midfield. Trent's going to go into midfield. Twisted fate. King Trent. Behave yourself. Rat. Absolute rat. Andorra making a couple of changes too here. 1-0 feels so grim, doesn't it? Twisted, now I feel your pain. When we lost Ronaldo to them, also fair play. We got a decent amount, but still it hurts. No, it's nothing about him going to Real Madrid. Honestly, it really isn't. The reason Liverpool fans booed Trent is nothing to do with him going to Real Madrid. It's really not. He quite happily could have gone to Real Madrid with Liverpool fans' blessing. Oh, here we go. England, come on. It's going to be a corner. Good bit of defending, that. Good bit of defending by Andorra. Garcia. It wasn't anything to do with him going to Real Madrid. He was just... he lied, basically. That's the real issue with Trent Alexander-Arnold. He lied to Arne Slot and to Liverpool fans, and he knew he's been plotting. He's been plotting to move to Madrid for at least 2 years. And it just feels a bit grubby, a bit dirty. Yeah, saying he wanted to be captain. It's that. Yeah, staying. And for the last 12 months saying he wanted to be captain. And then, all the while, he was always planning to go to Madrid. Itty. Stop fannying about with it. Itty. Honestly. Knick-knack, Arsenal's second half of the season form was 4th and City were number 1. See, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that. Fernie can never get excited watching England get my hopes up and then they play terrible. Again, probably, yeah, reasonable assessment. Knick-knack, fair play to Andorra though. They've been organised. They have. They've been very, very organised. Corner from the right here for England. Cleared away. Got a player down in the box here for Andorra, so I imagine it's going to be... No, he's alright. It's not a head injury. Machina Joe, I'm counting on Everton and Moyes to hit the ground running in the new stadium, new season. Moyes got pre-season now, hit the ground running. How they finished off this season is how they have to start. Is it not a concern to you, Joe, about how teams tend to start in new stadiums, though? Typically, when teams move to new stadiums, they don't always do very well. Arsenal being a prime example of that. Spurs were a little bit of an example of that. West Ham certainly were an example of that. Quite a few teams, when they move to a new stadium, it feels like the atmosphere is a bit flat and they can't quite get going. And I think that's one of the main things. I think Goodison Park, to be honest, has kept Everton up in recent years, hasn't it? It's in an absolute powder keg atmosphere, brilliant atmosphere. And that's been one of the reasons why Everton have stayed up. And now they've not got that. So they're going to have to try and recreate that atmosphere at the new place. I'm sure they will, same people in there. But definitely takes time to adjust to a new environment. England in down the right-hand side here. Really poor final ball yet again. And it's good defending by Andorra, though. It's going to go behind for a corner. Who was that? Bellingham. What a surprise. Twisted Fate, my bet is Leeds stay up this season. I'd prefer Burnley because I hate Leeds. But Burnley like the coming up and down money. I've got a good feeling about Burnley. Yeah, I've got a good feeling about Burnley. They defended incredibly well, didn't they, last year? The worry I've got with Burnley is that they've sold Egan Riley. They're probably going to sell Esteve. They might even sell Trafford. It feels like the main cornerstones of their defence might actually end up leaving. It's going to be a goal kick to Andorra. Machine of Joe, we're Everton, we're special, we're chosen. Knick-knack, I do love the look of Everton's new stadium, though. Look, I'm not going to sit here and criticise Everton's new stadium. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be wonderful in time. But there's always adaptation issues when teams move to a new stadium. And I think losing that Goodison crowd where they are so on top of you, where it is a real burr pit, that isn't just about the people in the stadium. That's kind of the architecture of the stadium as well. It's how close they are to the pitch and all that. And I don't know. We don't know how sound's going to reverberate at the Bramley Moor Dock or the Hill Dickinson Arena. We don't know how it's going to all travel. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens with Everton next season. But from everything we've seen, I would be incredibly surprised if they spent very much money this summer. I think they're going to have to bring in a lot of players. Probably 8 or 9 new players are going to have to come into Everton. And for that reason, I think the players that come in are probably only going to be worth maybe 10, 15 million pounds each at best. So it's going to be low quality players. It's not going to be players who they're able to get a massive amount of cash. You know, they've not got that. They've not got that. Knick-knack Moyes is a safe pair of hands. He is a safe pair of hands. He is a safe pair of hands. But again, how many times have we seen this with Everton fans? It'll be a real cycle with Everton fans. We've seen it so many. Not even just Everton fans. I'm not picking on Everton fans, but lots of clubs. Everton in particular, though, at this moment in time, we've seen them. They get a new shiny manager. Usually like a Ronald Koeman or Marco Silva, whoever it was. This guy's going to be the guy who brings us and takes us forward. Martinez, Ancelotti. They do the shiny manager, the one who's got the England player's gone down here, playing for a red card. Who is it who's gone down? Who is it who's gone down here? Curtis Jones. Oh, get up, Curtis. Get up, Curtis. He didn't touch you. Behave yourself. Ridiculous. Yeah, this is it, Fernie. This is it, exactly. They'll want a better style of football in the new stadium so they could get a new manager. Yeah, and that's what it is. Everton get these shiny managers. Ancelotti, Silva, Koeman, Martinez. They get the manager, and then the manager fails, right? Doesn't give them what they want, and they go and get Mr. Pragmatist. They go and get the manager who is someone who's maybe not, let's say the break glass for emergency type of manager, right? Sam Allardyce, they got him in. They got Sean Dyche in. They got Rafa Benitez in. They got managers who are incredibly seasoned, experienced, pragmatic managers, right? They go and get them in. And then Moyes is another one of them. They go and get them in, and after maybe 12 months, 18 months, the fans start to turn because they go, you've kept us up. You've done what you were brought in to do. But now we want better. Now we want you to kick us on, and you've not kicked us on. So they go and they sack him. They go and get shiny again. Shiny comes in, and shiny doesn't quite get it going. They end up down the bottom end, and they need someone to come and save him again, and it'll just keep going. It's just an endless cycle. Shiny, Mr. Pragmatist. Shiny, Mr. Pragmatist. They've got Mr. Pragmatist, and it'll be shiny next. It'll be Jose Mourinho. That keeper's been man of the match for sure. Unbelievable save, that. Great save. Twisted Fate, Knick-knack. The United Circus Stadium looks better than the Everton one. The actual stadium, not the circus tent above it. Knick-knack, 20 minutes to go. Still only England 1-0. Fuck's sake, England, I know. We've missed Saka. Eze with the shot there. I mean, I need another 2 goals, lads. And I'm really, if I'm dead honest, I can't see us scoring 2 in the next 15 minutes. Can you? I really can't see us scoring 2, but I might have to just stick with it. Machine Joe, we're lucky Goodison remains. Unlike Highbury, White Hart Lane and Upton Park, Everton has built 3 stadiums. The only club, Anfield 2, we built that. I know which stadium I'd rather be in. Nick Nack Moyes ain't going anywhere this season. Are Everton fans really as deluded as West Ham fans? I don't know if they're as deluded as West Ham fans, but it is a cycle that afflicts Everton. It is a cycle that afflicts Everton. They, like I said, they want more very quickly. I think it's because Everton expects. Everton expects. They're still a big club. They expect to be competing. And when they bring in a shiny new manager, and shiny new manager ends up taking them down to the doldrums, to the pits, they think, oh my God, we can't go down. So they get someone in who'll save them, and they do. Sean Dyche saved them. Sean Dyche saved Everton. Of that, there is no doubt. He saved them. He kept them up. And he got his reward for that. His reward for that was he was getting booed by the fans. In the end, pretty much. It was a difficult end to the season for Sean Dyche. Now, I'm not necessarily saying Everton weren't right to sack him, but it still continues that endless cycle. They'll go and get someone next. They've got Moyes in. They'll go and get someone next in. And I would argue it's probably going to be Andorra in here. They're going to score. Oh, my God. Andorra could have scored then. England, get your act together. What are you doing? Machine of Joe Lampard saved us. Yeah, exactly. Lampard saved you. And he couldn't then kick it on. You went and got Sean Dyche. Because he couldn't... Lampard ended up taking you to the brink. You brought Dyche in, Dyche saved you. Now you've brought Moyes in, who's a slightly more successful manager than Dyche, but still the same dose of pragmatism. And I guess that's what's next. Is it's going to be a manager that Everton can believe in. And Moyes will leave. I do think Moyes leaves Everton before the end of the season. Calling it now. The fans get tired and Everton sack, or Moyes leaves before the end of the current season. It's going to happen. 3-star Reds, this performance is perfect for insomnia. Yeah, it's been a bad game, hasn't it? England being outdone by Nuno ball from Andorra, they deserve a point from this game. Yeah, mate, they've been really good. The keeper alone has been incredible, hasn't he? Unbelievable. By the way, just while we've got a quick break in play, if you haven't yet already, please do like and subscribe. Please make sure you click like. Like is a big thing. Like is a very big thing. And if you want to do even more than like doesn't mean anything to you really, but it helps me. But if you can subscribe too, much love. Fernie, I think Moyes goes as well. Agreed. Yeah, Tony Snooker fan. This game is so bad. I seriously don't think Tuchel is the manager for us, to be honest. Nick Nat Tuchel, pressure piling on Tuchel already. If he's churning out this sort of stuff, this is really bad. He's not been the breath of fresh air we were all hoping for. Well, some would argue that if Tuchel is the manager that we all hope he is, that then there is something you can learn from this. Look at that. Why? Like, if I'm Thomas Tuchel, I am fuming at the manner in... Oh, this is... Trent has just knocked it straight out of play. Oh... This is grim. Shay472, what happened to TikTok lives, mate? I've been banned. I've been banned on TikTok, mate, for 7 days. Yeah, I can't go on TikTok till the 13th of June at 6 o'clock at night because some Man United fan came in and said, I hate Liverpool fans. And he was only joking, he was being fine, he wasn't being a troll or anything. But he came and he said, I hate Man United, I hate Liverpool fans. And I laughed and said, well, yeah, I hate Man United fans. We all hate each other. Man United fans hate Liverpool fans. We hate Man United fans. It's fine, the world keeps spinning. And then bang, everything went off. The whole live went down. You've been suspended for hate speech. That's what it said, I swear to God. You've been suspended for hate speech on TikTok. You get your live access back on June the 13th. I appealed it. They rejected it out of hand within an hour. Osama Tuchel is a German for Southgate. Secret agent Tuchel. 3-star Reds. Hope our PSR brothers Everton have a great season next season, but not as good as us though. Champions League next season for Forest. I think it's great news for Forest that City have gone with Cherky. And at least that means that Gibbs White is going to stay at the club. I think if you can keep hold of Gibbs White and Elanga, of course. Gibbs White, Elanga. You need a centre forward, don't you? What do you think of the 3 Brazilian lads that you've just signed from Botafogo as well? That's a bit of excitement, isn't it? Declan Rice and Anthony Gordon coming on here. Maybe a bit of ingenuity from these lads. Morgan Rogers coming off. Good game, Morgan Rogers, or at least he's been a bright spark in this team. Twisted Fate TikTok is so soft. Well, yeah. Fernie, that's why us and Scousers get on so well. We both don't like Man United. Yeah, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, eh, Fernie? Chance for Trent to pop one in here, says Nick Knack. Yeah, it's going to be a free kick on the edge of the area. Hey, we say Trent. Give it to Rice. Give it to Rice. Balls to Trent. You've got your man there. Declan Rice is better on this. Or Reece James, actually. I'd put them two over him. Not that rat. Oh, Substorb, this is dead. I know. Trent stood over it. Reece James is stood over it. Who's going to take it? Is Trent going to pull rank? I wonder. Nick Knack, there's 2 types of football fans. United supporters and United haters. Yeah, there's not many who are just ambiguous to United, is there? They're very much Marmite. It's kind of the same with Liverpool, though, as well, and Arsenal. Arsenal are a little bit like that. Maybe it's just all the big clubs. I'm very much of the opinion I can take or leave pretty much any club. I'm cool with them. I love Liverpool, and everyone else I'm pretty much sound with, apart from Everton, United, Chelsea, City, and Arsenal recently. Oh, what was that? Reece James. Look at him. Look at him laughing. Look at him laughing. He knows that was 60 yards over the bar, that. What are you doing? Ah. So bad. So bad. Twisted Fate, name me a club where their fans don't seem to try and push hatred for United. What is this? We didn't ruin every fan's child in England, did we? United definitely, yeah, you certainly ruined mine. Certainly ruined mine. I remember crying after Man United knocked us out the FA Cup in, I think it was 98, or might have even been the year that you won the treble. Michael Owen scored and Solskjaer scored in the last minute at Old Trafford, and I cried. It was so sad. I was only about 6 or 7 maybe, but it was grim. Right, I'm just going to leave that. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Shay472, hated, adored, never ignored. Well, you can say that. Yeah, you can say that. Chimey, can you please demonstrate your crying face? You might see it one day. You might see it one day if Liverpool lose in the last minute against United again. To be honest, I was very, very close to tears. I mean, I hadn't started the channel, but I was very, very close when when Ahmad scored against us in the Cup the other year. That was grim. Absolutely grim. Twisted Fate, I apologise for that. Can you like us now? We do need some friends. You need some builders more than anything. You need some builders, merchants and construction workers who can sort that stadium out. 3-star Reds, Cubiano and Igor Jesus. Can't wait to see what they can bring with the reviews they have. Jair, not sure about him. But the scouting with Murillo certainly paid dividends. Yeah, I was going to say that was my initial thought, was Murillo kind of came out of nowhere, and what an unbelievable signing he's been. You have signed other players from the Brazilian League, haven't you? Didn't you get that big 6'7" keeper from Brazil? I'm sure you signed a big 6 foot odd keeper from Brazil, and he's barely played. I know he's only come in as backup, but that hasn't quite worked. 3-star, oh, we've done that one. Knick-knack, only beating Andorra by 1 goal must be the equivalent of losing to Wales. Embarrassing. Shay472, when we beat you to the title on the final day of next season. Listen to yourself, Shay. Get a grip, man. Get a grip. You don't believe that for 1 second. The title. United are getting nowhere. United will be lucky they finish top half next season. Miguel, that was the one. 3-star Reds. Yes, that was Miguel. Knick-knack, Southgate beats this shower 9-0 on aggregate, for fuck's sake. Southgate, Sir Gareth is laughing. Sir Gareth is laughing his head off here. He's absolutely chuckling. Osama, England are the worst team in England. It's just, do you know what, it's annoying me. There's just no urgency. Do you know what it's almost like? Like, oh yeah, let's take the ball into the corner. We've won 1-0. Is there no pride? Where's the pride in your shirt? Where's the pride? Osama, hopefully I can find a Welsh great-grandmother or something. Yeah, get searching, get your heritage checked, see if you've got anyone else, any other nationalities in the distant relatives that you can lean into. Apparently my missus has got an Irish grandfather. Tempted to do get her the Irish passport, and then we can actually go and stay in Europe again post Brexit. 3-star Reds. Miguel came with promise, but after his performance against Exeter in the FA Cup, not to be seen again. I watched that game. I think we watched that on this channel actually. Nottingham against Exeter. Twisted fate, but England are the best team in the UK at least. Well, did Scotland end up getting beat yesterday by Iceland? Our mate, Pure Loyalist, who comes into the chats regular, he came in and he said, we're definitely getting beat. He's a Scot. He came in and he said, we're definitely getting beat by Iceland. And then someone came in literally 5 minutes later and went, Iceland are 1-0 up. Simon, at least the Welsh and the Scottish play with passion. They may not be very good, but at least they are full-hearted with it. Yeah, exactly. It's just so devoid of... It's just urgency. That's the thing that's been frustrating for me. There's been no urgency in this England performance at all. None. Absolutely none. Twisted fate. Not going to lie, though. It's actually abysmal how this golden generation has won nothing. Did you see the interview with Paul Scholes and Gary Neville where they were talking about, the golden generation of England? And they were like, how was the golden generation of England how didn't they win anything when they had Rooney, Owen, Gerrard, Scholes, Lampard, Rio Ferdinand, Terry, Ashley Cole, Gary Neville, like a proper team. And Paul Scholes was like, yeah, but, as good as we were, you looked at the Brazil side who knocked us out of the 2002 World Cup, and it was like Roberto Carlos, Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, Ronaldo, Cafu. Like, Kaka was on the bench. Like, real top quality. Like, you've got exceptional players who are in England, and you've got real top draw, greatest of all time, GOATs in every position type thing. And France as well. Look at France's team now. I look at France's team and Spain's team. Completely different to this England one. Baffling. Fernie got to feel for the fans who spent good, hard-earned cash to go over there and watch this crap. But look, if nothing else, they got a nice little weekend in Barcelona. They're in Espanyol, but you know what I mean. They got a nice little weekend in Catalonia. Osama, to be fair, Iceland are a good supermarket. Cool on the ball. Do good frozen stuff as well, don't they, Iceland? It's not really my supermarket of choice. Unless they want to sponsor, and then it could become my supermarket of choice. 3-star red. Scotland lost 3-1. Italy lost 3-1 to Norway. Would not have minded that as a double at the bookies. Yeah, I saw the Norway one. Because we were live last night for Wales against Liechtenstein. We were doing that one last night. Knick-knack, if Becks and Rooney never got sent off, who knows what might have happened. I still think we'd have lost at France 98. There's absolutely no way in hell we'd have beat France or Brazil in France 98. That's going to be a foul to England. No foul! Oh, Madueke, get up. Get up. Outrageous. Oh, he's just nutmegged Madueke. Andorra taking the mick. Andorra, take the piss. Andorra, take the piss. Osama, I like Iceland. There's this checkout girl with big mangoes. Can't read that out, but I liked it. It was very, very nice. Knick-knack just wasn't meant to be, sadly. I mean, I think at this point you might actually see an Andorra goal. Andorra might just shock us. How many minutes have they got? Have a goal from distance. You can beat him, Pickford. Shocking. He's shocking. And he plays for Everton. Right, what time's the Netherlands on? Oh, here we go. Jude's coming off. Trent will be chasing him off the pitch. Oh, don't take my friend away. Ooh, Madrid friends. Who's coming on? Bellingham off, and it is Morgan Gibbs-White, a real player. A real player, eh? 3-star Reds. Morgan Gibbs-White coming on. Twisted Fate is Maguire still England's highest goal scoring defender. Behave yourself. He's not, is he? Is he actually? Harry Maguire. In fact, let's just do that. England's highest scoring defender. Yeah, most goals scored by a defender, Harry Maguire. 7! Is that it? Is that all you need to be England's highest scoring defender? Interesting. Carlton Cole got 7 appearances for England as a substitute and never started a game. And the player with the shortest ever England career is Nathaniel Chalobah, who got literally 40 seconds when he came on as a substitute in the 3-2 win against Spain in 2018. He got 30 seconds as a sub, and then the ref blew up. He's never played for England since. That's so funny. Martin Kelly did the same. He got 2 minutes against Norway in 2012. Shay472, I've never watched Bellingham and been impressed. Gotta say I agree with that. Callum Trent's crying in his... I can't say that. Oh, is it 3? How's he missed it? Is it him again? Is it Madueke again? Who was that? Madueke again. He's had an absolute shocker. Oh, at least Anthony Gordon's chasing back. Oh, he's blown up. There you go, 1-0. He was onside. Anthony Gordon, he gets... Oh, Madueke. You have absolutely pooed the bed tonight. Sorry. Right. 3-star Reds. He's shocking and insulting that Tuchel has just given him under 2 minutes. What a shambles. Madueke, what the hell? Why even pass it from there, Mads? Unreal. Honestly, can't believe it. Well, listen. The Andorra keeper for me is the man of the match. Iker. Absolutely fantastic performance from him. England were dreadful. They were dreadful. There's nothing else needs to be said. Absolutely dreadful. What time am I live for the Netherlands? That one is at 7. Is it 7? What time's kick-off? Is it 8 o'clock kick-off? It's 8 o'clock kick-off. The Netherlands. The Netherlands. I think it is, isn't it? No, 7:45. Right. I will be back at 7:30. Right? I'll be back at 7:30. If anyone is coming back and joining me for the Finland-Netherlands game, make sure you do. Come over and join me. I'll be live at 7:30 for Finland against the Netherlands. We'll be doing that FIFA World Cup qualifier. Thanks to everyone that's liked and subscribed and all that and commented. Thank you for everyone that's been in the chat. If you want to come back for another natter later on, please do so. We'll be back tomorrow as well, if you've not, for... we'll be back tomorrow for the Nations League. The Nations League third place playoff and the Nations League final, both of which are tomorrow. So we'll be doing both of them. And sorry, you asked about the World Cup qualifier, Finland v the Netherlands. Yes, it is. I'm trying to see which channel it was on. To be honest, you can watch it. I think you can watch it on 365 as well, if you have got anything on it. But it is. I'm sure it is on. But I'll see you all later. I'll come back. I'll be back at 7:30, and we'll talk it all through then. We'll go through the Finland-Netherlands teams. Thank you for everyone that's liked and subscribed and commented. Please make sure you have. And I'll see you in the next one.